Because even when you take power, how you use it, how you manage it is the most critical thing. And therefore, part of why we found the need to work together with colleagues in PFF is to resuscitate hope in our people, in this country, to lift them from the mentality in which they've been plunged by a systematic campaign of General Museveni to break them down, to cause them to be hopeless and frustrated, and to reach a point where they say that nothing can happen here. Things can happen. Because though General Museveni certainly as a sitting president, he holds power over the army, security services, and other institutions certainly which have broken down incidentally, but he does not have control, nor is he in charge of the dynamics of change. Dynamics of change always create their own life and nobody can stop. People who are observant, people who are able to analyze things deeply, you can see the dynamics of change at work. They may be slow, but they are relentless. That's why you see someone like Mugabe, whom everybody thought was in charge, and they were saying, Mugabe, where can Mugabe go? You saw what happened. Always. And therefore, we thank God that we were able to regroup. Because their aim also lies another lesson to the country. General Museveni over time has consciously, deliberately, and in a systematic way created a state of being in our country to make it seem that when people disagree, that necessarily you become hostile to each other, almost that you become enemies. That's why he has built a barrier in the country for purpose of psychologically influencing the thinking of the people, us versus them. Yes. He's good at deception. There is no doubt about that. You have to give it to him. He's far at deception. Because he knows that when you have the people who are disempowered, when you have the people who have lost hope, when you have the people who have got frustrated, it is easy to control them and manipulate them. I thank God that we have recouped. Because it must signal the population that you may have disagreements, but you don't have to be hostile to one another. You don't become enemies. Because our separation in the case was never personal. It was on strategy and methods, that's all. There were also mature people across the aisle. On our side as NT, on the side of PFF. We are mature, and we learn from lessons of the past as we continue to shape the future that we desire to see happen. It's tough, but we have got capability to maneuver, even within challenging times. We will maneuver. I don't understand. Lastly, where there is a desire for us to work together, those who desire to see change, why change in terms of getting into power and removing those who are getting in there is a foregone conclusion, only that we don't know the date. But resuscitating a people who've been so broken broken down, to regain hope, to regain self, a sense of self-worth, self-worth, self-worth. Because that's also another area where Jerome Museveni has worked systematically to break down the people. Their sense of self-worth, the majority of them is gone. And yet, the strength of a country is never on infrastructure. He keeps talking about roads, he talks about dams, he talks about electricity. Libya had more than we had. Iraq had more than we had. Sudan had more than we had. But where is that infrastructure in all those countries? But back that point, and we really need to work on it every moment that we have. When you find a leadership which breaks down the people, I have said this, I keep saying it over and over until it sinks in people's consciousness. When people will scramble for 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings, give up their right, their fundamental right of choice, and replace it with 1,000, 2,000 shillings, that's a population that is being brought down to its knees. Countries which prosper, see countries which are almost like us, same level of development. They went through challenges. Countries like Vietnam. We see countries which have developed so fast, like South Korea. With all the teams of leaders, national as well as regional and international, to pursue that until freedom of our colleagues is achieved. From here as a delegation, you have seen 5 of us. We are 8. Those of you who may recall what happened last week, I think, last week when we signed the Memorandum of Understanding. There is the central body of this cooperation under the MOU called the Common Ground Council. And it has 8 from PFF, 8 from Alliance for National Transformation. Here, as we've been introduced, we are 5. There are 3 colleagues who are not around. Honorable Cassiano Adri, who is in West Nile, is not being able to come. There is Honorable Winnie Chiza, who is, I think, in Sierra Leone. She's outside, she's not around here. And the 8th one is Ambassador Edith Sempala, who is not here. Our apologies on their behalf. There are a number of reasons why we need to work together as people want to see change in this country. Not only change of regime, but change in the manner in which governance is conducted in this country. Because we've been in a vicious cycle for 60-something years. Regimes change, the direction of governance remains the same. It's a culture which is deeply entrenched. And there must be a team of leaders who need to understand that beyond regime change, which by all means we must put effort behind to achieve, fulfill, but the largest struggle is in how to change our country and put it on track in terms of good governance. One, MOU is mostly around the short term, which is this coming election. Even within that, we as PFF and NT recognize that there are other parties that we can reach out to. And that council will work on that. That we don't have to agree 100%. That if there are 5 issues, even if we agree on 4 or 3, we can work around those that we agree on and have the discipline not to quarrel over the 2 or even 3 that we don't agree upon. Why is that important? Because the country is bleeding.